Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. You know that. Mitch behind the cameras, and we're back in the shop. Thanks for joining us. We have numbers. I know you don't know what I'm talking about right now, but it's our anniversary. It's actually tomorrow. We did our first YouTube video 5 years ago. So this was for the anniversary of the second one. There is no number 3 because I was in hospital for, I think, 61 days at one point. Then we did a number 4, and so I started working on the 5. So I'm going to finish that off. And it's been our goal since we started to reach 100,000 subscribers. We're at 82. If you can help us out by punching that button, that'd be much appreciated. We're going to work on the Cub today, and I got the motor out, and Mitch is going to show you a picture where the oil leaks from. It comes out of the push rod tube here, and it also came from the base gasket. And I think what was happening is that there was pressure inside the crankcase. Now on the top of the motor, I made up a plug that goes in here, and it basically seals everything off. And I think that I need a vent. So that's what I did yesterday, and here's the pieces. Can you see this? That's what screws in. I've got a bun breather. There was a guy in Australia, I don't know what he's up to now, but he made these breathers. It's called a bun breather. It's B-U-N-N. And it's basically a one-way valve. So I wanted to incorporate this, and I didn't want it to show. So it goes one way. There's an arrow right there. It's hard to see. So anyway, that's how it works. And that fits on like that. I'm going to put it together, and you'll see. So if you look, can you see there's a little bit of a rock there? I got a 5-thou press fit on the breather, and hopefully that is what the problem was. I need to take off the head and the barrel. I've got some gasket goo. I'm going to goop it up, and then we'll put it back together again, and then we'll start it up. I've also worked on the carburetor. I put in a smaller needle jet. I went from a 106 down to a 105, so that's only a thou difference, I'm told, which is not a lot at all. So I think I'm going to have to experiment and maybe make up some custom needles, but I'm up for that. So that's what it looks like, and O-ring there. I didn't want to see a hex at all, so what I did was I drilled a hole, and I use a punch, and there we go. So it's pretty simple, but I like it. And then I went to Mopac yesterday, auto parts shop. I don't know if you know those, and I got a little, there it is, there's the packaging, a crankcase vent filter. It's the Pro Series. I wouldn't want anything else. And how much do you think that was? Even the guy behind the counter was surprised. $50 plus tax, $56, but it's exactly what I wanted. Anything else wouldn't be quite right. So that's my crankcase breather. I think it's going to work quite well. So I also made something else. I was busy in my shop yesterday. So this is the wrench that fits on here. What is it? 5/16 Whitworth. And it's not very long. So when I go to torque these down, I don't have a lot of leverage. So this is my custom tool. Look, it's a good fit. So that's going to be used to take off the head. So let's get started. I'm going to take a C-clamp, hold this down, because otherwise the engine will probably move. And we're going to see what's going on inside here. There's a bit of a press fit or a squeeze fit on these O-rings and seals. So we're going to actually measure, I think, how much of a squish, because that could be a part of the problem too. I'm not sure. This is the first time the motor's coming apart. So I'll take it apart. I'll pull the head off. I don't want to take the piston out of the barrel because the rings are seating and I don't want to disturb them. So we'll just see what happens. I can't do this in the frame because the head will hit the frame tube there. See, on the inside of the push rod tube, there's a lot of oil there. Look at all that oil. And I put a ding in the push rod tube somehow. So you can see the head, it's running. I mean, it was only fired up outside, but when I took out the plug, it was black, and you can see how the combustion chamber is black. So it's got to be leaned out somewhat. Okay, so let's see what happens here now. So it was leaking out right about there. So you would think that there'd be some kind of a mark, but everything looks good. So what I want to do is to pull the gasket down, if I can, and I've got some Permatex here. So I want to put that around the gasket. And then I also want to put some around here. So this was leaking. So I got to check how much of a squish there is. And I'll probably put the Permatex all around here as well. I hope that works. So sort of maintenance on this little motor here, that's what's happening today. Can you see that? Super thin. If I break it, then I really have to take off the barrel. There you go. And once it goes over the lip on the barrel, it'll be easy. There we go. Okay, so look, it did have, see the gasket goo there? I did put the goo on one side. So that has to get scraped off a little bit, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now the gasket comes down. So I'll put a little extra along here because that's where the oil was coming from. Kind of a weird place, but I think there was pressure. That's what I think. I used to have a Cub when I was 15, and I bought it off a high school friend. He bought it as a basket case, and he told me later that he had to assemble the whole motor. And when he put the flywheels together, you know, you're supposed to use an arbor press or a hydraulic press. He didn't have that, so he just took a big hammer and he hammered them together. And then when he put the piston in, he left out the circlip. So when I took the motor apart, I mean, I was 15, I didn't know much. And it came with a whole bunch of extra parts, used parts. So I took off the head and the barrel like I did here. I didn't have to take the motor out of the frame because that one, it was possible to take off the head and the barrel. And you didn't have to take the motor out. And I changed the rings and some other stuff. I just put used rings in there. I didn't know any better. I just thought I was working on my bike, and I was. So that's what I had when I was 15. I bought it for $125. I sold it for $175, and then I regretted selling it later. So that's why I have this Cub. 50 years later, I got my Cub all over again. And now I'm a little wiser, so. Doesn't mean I know what I'm doing, but hopefully this will work. Okay, so that's quite a bit of goo. So there we go. So that's down. And what we're going to do now, I won't put the push rods in. I'll put the head gasket in, and we're going to see how much of a press there is on those O-rings which seal. I guess if I take off the seals and I put the tube in there, then I can measure how much of a squish. Maybe I don't have enough squish. Maybe that's part of why it's coming out, but maybe it's just the pressure. Okay. Oops. And for some reason it's not going in. Okay, let's try this way. It's like it's hitting the fin there. It's not a good fit. Not what I want. See, it's hanging up. It's been over 2 years, so I can't remember why. I think what's happening is that the tube is hitting on the fin just very, very slightly. And that's not good. Yeah, it looks like it needs to come down a little bit. I don't know. Let's check something. Let's check the wall thickness. See, I've got these. Someone gave these to me, and I fixed them up. And they're both, see, when you open one up, they're the same. So you can put it where you want, and then you can measure the wall thickness. So it's 90 thou. So I can take off a little bit. That would work. But that's what's happening. I think, see, I had one mark at first, and now I got 2 marks. So there's something there that, and it's basically right up at the top there. So that could be part of the problem. Okay, so well, it's got clear, look at that, it's got clear, well, no, yes it does. So close though. So it's hitting, that's what's going on. So this has to be turned down a little bit, or I have to grind the head. So, can you see that? It's not coming out. First. There we go. So it does turn, but it's tight. Looks like it's hitting on the 3rd one. See that? On the 3rd fin? I think I need to take a little bit out there. All right, everything is masked off, so we won't get anything inside. Okay, so look at that. I got the head on, and I can move the tube up and down. Okay, so what I need to do now is to measure this and figure out what the squish is. So this is 300 thou, and then this is 250, and this is 93. So if I add 93 under 250, so I get a squish of 43 thou. So maybe that's enough, I don't know. It's got some squish. It's not like it's got nothing. But you see, this is pretty soft. It's not like it's hard or anything like that. So I guess if I goop it all up, maybe that'll work. Okay, so Anyway, we got clearance now, so, because look, that's way better than before. Okay, we're going to work on the head gasket now. We have to anneal it. We're going to heat it up. We're going to soak it in, or quench it in cold water. That's what makes copper soft. So let's do that. And then we can put it back together. All right, this is not going to take very long now. Got a number 4 tip here, overkill. We're looking for some little bit of redness, just a little bit. I can see red. It looks different as well. See that? See how it's, you can really see the copper color. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Oh, only goes one way. There we go. Okay, it's annealed. So I'm gonna goop this up, and hopefully there'll be no issues with this leaking. And I think maybe it was leaking because it couldn't sit properly. I never realized when I assembled it that the push rod tube was so tight. All right. Now I can't remember exactly how I did this last time. Let's try this. I remember when I was 15 and I was putting this back together on my Cub, and I couldn't get it to fit, so I made a piece of cardboard with 2 holes, and I pressed it down inside, and that held it like that. That's not the best way to do it, I don't think, having a piece of cardboard inside there. Okay, then, so that one's good. Need to hold that open somehow. There we go. It's not moving anywhere. Okay, well, I guess I got him in. That's tricky. So when I come down, yeah. So I guess that's in, isn't it? But this should be the, there we go. Okay. All right. So I got a little gap there, and I have to torque down the head. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to modify the tube and grind, and I had no idea. Anyway, hopefully it's all good now. Okay, when you tighten up head bolts, you always do a cross pattern. That's just how you do it. This is where my tool comes in, because I can't torque it enough just like that. And what the torque is, I don't know, maybe 25 pounds. Pretty hard to get a torque wrench on here. But okay. Mitch and I like coffees. If you buy us coffees, helps a lot. Please subscribe. We do want to reach that 100,000 mark. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.